Dink's out.
Excuse me?
What? I'm sorry?
Excuse me, Alex?
And we're live in 3, 2. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Comic Book Club. I'm Alex.
I'm Justin.
I'm Pete.
And you are watching us live here on the internet, or maybe you're listening to us. I don't know. I don't know which one's going on necessarily. I can't speak for you. Get off the jock. You know what I'm talking about?
Whoa. That's right. Anyway. Dinks out. Our standard rule. Let's do it.
That's what we always say. We have a packed show for you, but I wanted to say hello, of course, to the folks watching on Crowdcast. Hello to everybody there. If you got any questions for us, we'll be getting those later in the show, so go to Ask a Question of them there. If you're over on the tube, on the old YouTube, keeping an eye on that. You all are awesome as well. But in the comment section, we'll read those off on the live show. And also, if you want to give us a little thumbs up on YouTube, we always appreciate that. But first of all, Justin, welcome back from your travels in Los Angeles.
Look who remembered
how's
to
it
do
going?
a live show.
I missed you all so much.
LA Justin.
I'm back in New York on the right time zone. What a time. I love flying. Airplanes are safe. The safest place to be.
I don't know about that. How many tests did you have to take?
Yeah, how many COVID tests? Total?
I have probably taken 25 COVID tests. I had one today. I had one today on another set here in New York.
Oh man, you're taking them like potato chips. You're just like
No one can take just one COVID test. That's what they say.
I mean, well, I can think of one person who probably did.
Once you pop, you can't top.
Yeah. Once you COVID, you can't go vid EO with your friends because everyone thinks you're weird.
Nice. Well done.
Well, folks, as I mentioned, we have a totally packed show for you today with lots of guests. This will be an interesting tech experiment for us because we're going to be inviting multiple guests into the stream.
I love a good tech experiment. Isn't life just a good tech experiment? While we have a sec, I just want to set my status as the number one Wolverine fan. Number one Wolverine fan.
Bullshit. Did you just
hold on. I'm inviting our first group of guests into the stream. They're creators of an independent film called Zero Issue, Ali Keller and Jim Fagan. We got Ali on screen right now, and Jim is hopefully making his way in. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Yeah. All right. Oh, and here's our first guest. Hey, look at that. How's it going? Thanks so much for coming on the show. Very excited to chat about this. This is, for those who haven't checked it out, it is, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's free online, and it's basically like a mockumentary, but set in the world of a superhero convention, and it's a lot of fun. Where did the initial germ of the idea come from? And for those who don't know the project, just kind of run through your individual roles on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Ali, you first.
I was going to say you should talk about the inspiration for the movie because I joined the team post conceit. So Jim should talk more about that.
And Jim, you're also doing a stand-up comedy set right now as well. Right?
Yeah, I am. Thank you. Yeah, I just kind of flip around from, I hit karaoke live streams across the web, and I'm just kicking into this one now. Yeah. I'm director and producer on this. Ali's one of our producers, which is great. Myself and a couple buds, Matt and Zach, we were making a lot of online sketches and sort of spending, we were cooking one sketch for like a month before we would release it. And we were like, all this effort, man, let's just make a movie. So that took 4 years, and that was a much easier misdirect, I guess, after that. But we were like, so like any good collaborators, we got together and we argued over what we wanted to make, like what were we into, what did we like watching. And we were all into mockumentaries. We were very into What We Do at the Shadows at the time, and Christopher Guest and all that stuff. And we were like, well, we love going to Marvel movies. We love comics, and we want to make a comic book mockumentary. That was where we came at. So, we tried to bake like 40 different ideas, and finally, a person that we know and love close to us who was running a festival went on Facebook Live, and it was such a interesting and strained experience to watch this person trying to get this festival up and running on his Facebook Live. And we were like, oh shit, we want the main character to run a superhero festival. So that was pretty much it. I think that's it in a nutshell. I'm reaching back 4 years now to figure this out.
Ali, what about you? When did you join the project? And what was your role?
I am a producer on the project. I joined I feel like personally it was a little bit by fate. I called Jim up because Jim and I worked on a Live from Lincoln Center project like years before this Kickstarter fundraiser for the film launched. And I sort of called Jim in a panic being like, I want to work in film, explain it to me, because I was coming from the world of theater.
We used to do theater too. This show in a theater. And now
we're different.
Now we're on film.
Yeah. Well, this is film. This is what film is, right?
That's all it is now. We got coffee and Jim was like, hey, do you want to work on this thing? And I thought he meant, do you want a PA on this? Because I had zero experience. And then I got the email for an interview with the rest of the team, and it was for an associate producer position, which I was wildly unqualified for. But, somehow convinced everybody to let me be a part of the team and sort of hit the ground running with them, which was super fun. So really just asked Jim for coffee and then wound up producing.
Ali made the classic mistake of doing her job really well over and over again, and we just kept giving her more and more shit to do and a bigger title along with it. So yeah.
What I love about this idea is that usually when folks are doing the mockumentary format, I mean, first of all, obviously it's popular, like you said, What We Do in the Shadows, The Office, Best in Show, all the Christopher Guest movies, etc., etc. But it's also kind of, there's this sneaky thing of like, oh, we can also do it on the cheap because it's just like grabbing footage and throwing it everywhere, right? It's super easy. And then you throw in special effects and superheroes. How much more difficult did that make it to tackle?
So much. So much more.
It was a bit of a Avengers Assembly kind of thing in the beginning. It was really about getting other people on board, and it became about trying to find as many people who had those kinds of talents and skills to get like into the idea the same way we were. So Kinetic Pictures did all of the special effects. Adam Harum is the guy who did all of the special effects, and like he's a pro. He does it out in Spokane, Washington, but we got him to sort of fall in love with this idea alongside of us, and he sort of committed himself to it. And I'm sure thought he was getting into something way smaller. We started out by asking him to make a little flame on a Kickstarter come out of our hands. And then we were like, oh, can you do one other thing for us, please? The entire movie. And so, he did a lot of that heavy lifting, but yeah, it turns it into a long post process for sure. And it means that you're putting a lot of faith into the team you're putting around yourself, especially when you're still trying to go pretty low budget. As you do this stuff.
Yeah. It made it definitely more complicated, but I also think in a way like more fun. Like I don't think I'll ever look back on a set, especially a low budget one, where it was like 60 people in upstate New York running around in tights costumes in a town that has no cell service, but like was not more game to like do the extra talking head to get the fun. It was awesome. Just like, it was insanely complicated, but like, I don't think you'd find a group of people having more fun with like the extra bits that really make the film.
And I feel like that's the Wet Hot American Summer has all the legends surrounding that. Same thing, like when you really just lock in with the group and you're in a weird place, it works. Where in upstate New York did you shoot it?
In Scroon Lake.
We were in Scroon Lake, New York, which is like 4.5 hours north. You almost hit Canada if you keep going.
That's my region.
Up there.
That's my region. That's where I'm from.
Oh, you're a capital region boy.
Yeah, not to interrupt. I mean, this is the first time you guys are on the show. Ostensibly, our show is a comic book talk show, and we talk about related media. But Justin and Pete are from upstate New York. And so 50% of our show is also an upstate New York talk show.
Yeah.
Conservatively.
Yeah, we talk about poutine. We talk about garbage plates.
Bad blue, being bad people sometimes. Just the normal stuff. Speaking
Nose
of
diving into folding tables, whatever.
exactly, Bill's Mafia, jumping off very high rocks. While we're confessing things on here, did you guys know that Jim and I actually know each other really well? We worked together at the Opposition with Jordan Klepper, and we went together to take our children to a Daniel Tiger live show at the King's Theater.
It was a beautiful day.
Well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Frank.
Boom.
Frank, I know him.
All interconnected.
Oh wow! Are you guys gonna go do karaoke together after this?
I wish.
100%.
My wish is granted.
Now, not to keep throwing people under the bus, but I'm going to look over to Pete here, who probably has a little bit of a bone to pick with you. He brought this up right before the show came on, specifically the title of your movie being Zero Issue.
Yeah, I mean, some people think zero issues aren't real issues. You know what I mean? That like they're just set up, and what do you tackle that? Is that the main thrust of the doc?
Well,
I mean,
you're a big fan of Zero Issues, though, right? As far as the vibe I'm getting here, you're not one of those people, right? Who doesn't think zero issues are real issues? No way, right?
He has zero issues with zero issues.
I think we wanted, regardless of whether you're hot or cold on Zero Issues, we wanted to kind of set the tone for ourselves and for everybody else that we were going to try to take the comic book side of this seriously, and that we were sort of being like. Yes. Also, maybe keep an eye open because this is somebody's origin story here is the vibe. But I would, I'm not sure why you feel that way, but if it is because, issue 1 is a person's origin story, then that would make sense to me as well.
Yeah.
That usually the idea is everything is there that you need to say in the first issue, but it sort of fits our main character, Dale, because there is literally nothing special or worth telling about this guy before the events of this movie take place. So hopefully they dovetail nicely.
I think they should just believe in the comic, and instead of it labeling it a 0, give it a 1 and say, hey, this is where it starts,
That's so weird. I always can't believe it when you hate that so much.
Well, are they like? Sorry, I'm curious. Zero Issues, I would assume, are like the whole volumes come out, and now they're gonna it's like a prequel, right? Or they like slapping a prequel on you, basically? Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Was there a comic book or comic books that were particularly influential when you were putting this together for either of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, so for our writer, Matt, I think he drew a lot from like little nods here and there. So, and we wanted to sort of like also undercut, like nod to comic books, but then find a way to make it lame in Dale's world. So, we tried to orphan him, which is your classic, Batman origin for him, but to make it a very uninspiring death that he probably caused, we're trying to sort of, hint at. We tried to look at alliterative names and things like that. I mean, it's
classic.
It's pretty broad. We tried to kind of, Jessica Jones was an inspiration for us at the time of it, so we plucked her out. We were definitely also drawing from a lot of comic book movies too. I feel like just the culture of Marvel frenzy a little bit at the time that we struck out to do this guy.
Cool.
So this is free online right now, right? This is on YouTube, the full version of the movie. Obviously, there are certain life circumstances that make this difficult, but speaking broadly, are there any plans to continue the story, go back to that well? Are there new projects that you want to tackle? Anything like that?
Yeah, I think we're sort of, we were going to do a film screening, and COVID put a stop to that. So we figured we just wanted to get as many eyes on it as we possibly could. So we put it up on YouTube. We're talking to guys like yourselves. We're just hoping people will check it out. And then, Ali is running our festival submission process.
Yeah, we actually just got word today that we're a semifinalist for the Dumbo Film Festival. So that was
cool.
fun piece for us.
Yeah.
So hopefully that luck keeps going with our submissions here on out.
No,
That's awesome.
Nothing like the deep exhale of somebody else being like, "It's good, it's good, it's okay," and we're like, "Oh, okay, Jesus,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, that is awesome. I definitely recommend everybody check it out. Again, I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, and good luck with the submission process. Before I let you go, is there anything you want to plug individually that people should check out? Ali, is there any place you want to send people?
Just to watch Zero Issue online. Everything I'm working on right now outside of that is on my laptop on the page. So.
Nice.
Please don't hack my computer, but please don't share it
I'll try not to
online.
do that. Jim, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm not gonna spread the love. Just go watch your issue and tell us you liked it, even if you didn't. Go ahead and lie to us.
We all need a little
Awesome.
boost, and you guys got to start preparing for first issue, the sequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and of course that Daniel Tiger show that I guess you're gonna go to and not invite me and Pete to. Justin. It's cold.
There was room on my lap for one or both of you, and I should have thought to ask you.
All right, Jim, Ali, thank you so much for coming on the show. Good luck with everything.
Thank you,
Have a
guys.
good night.
Bye, guys.
Take care.
All right. Oop, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Once again,
cool.
the movie is called Zero Issue. That was Ali Keller and Jim Fagan. Like I said, a lot of fun. If you're a fan of Best in Show and those sort of things and superheroes, definitely go ahead to YouTube and check that out. I can't believe. When did you figure out that you knew each other, Justin?
Jim, when you posted here are our guests for next week, I immediately texted Jim and I was like, "Are you doing my comic book show?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess I am." I was like, "Holy shit." Because we're good friends, and
I thought you were going to say 5 minutes into the interview.
yeah, it's like, hey, I know that face
Somewhere.
I know that microphone.
Yeah.
No, we worked together for the whole run of the opposition with Jordan Klepper. It was great.
There you go. All right, folks, we are going to invite our second round of guests here into the stream. Again, we got a pair of them today. I hope I'm getting the names right, but Omar Spahi and Sina Grace, they are the creators of Getting Together, which is a new book from Image Comics. Also a lot of fun. We'll be talking more about it in our Stack podcast, but meanwhile, they're working way to the stream. Omar, how are you?
Good.
Omar.
Alex, how you doing?
Good. We've invited Sina as well, so hopefully should be making his way in as well. And glad you worked out your tech issues. I know that's neither here nor there for anybody who's watching, but I'm glad it worked out. Let me make sure that Sina is all good to go. But while he's getting set up here, Getting It Together comes out tomorrow from Image Comics, right?
How crazy is that?
Amazing. Perfect timing.
Well, how long? I see you have a whole planning board behind you. I don't know if that's for Getting It Together or not, but how long in the works has this comic book been?
If I told you, I'd want to cry. It's been about 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So from like idea to finding an artist, scripting, re-scripting, finding a publisher, everything. It's been an amazing journey.
Man, that's great. I'm killing time a little bit until Sina gets in here, but we can set up at least the concept of the book for those who don't know it. Do you want to give like the pitch line?
Yeah. So what happens if your best friend's sister's your girlfriend and you guys break up? Like, are you allowed to still be best friends with your best friend?
The answer is difficult. The answer is not easy.
It's always difficult with friends, family, and when you're 20s and your friends or your family, that's what the book is about. Sina says, "Go ahead and re-invite, and he'll pop right in."
Excellent. I love tech.
My brother dated my wife's sister for a while, so I get it.
Wow.
Wait, your brother dated your wife's sister?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like
doubly
so if it doesn't work out, it's a lot of drama.
And they broke up. So
Was it?
What happened? I want to hear. Is there a story?
Not like a fun, like comical breakup. Yeah. just didn't work out, and they're pretty normal about it unless any aspect of the relationship comes up at any point.
Who'd you stop talking to?
My wife.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Oh.
Just kidding.
That's amazing. If you want to know a little bit about my twisted family, my grandpa was one of 3 brothers who married 3 sisters.
Wow, that's like heightening, classic heightening right there.
And you want to know the twist? They were all first cousin.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's a bad twist.
That's not a good twist.
But once
in the day, it was common.
Of course, once one cousin marries, it's like, well, floodgates open. Let's do this.
Yeah, dominoes are falling.
That's how it works. I don't think that's how it works.
It was a different time back then, than 100 years ago.
Yeah.
How's your friend Sina doing? Have you heard from him? I mean, I'm happy to talk to the book about the book, but majority over the comment says this is comic book club, right? Yes, it is. Are you asking because we're encouraging cousin marriage?
And let me throw this out.
We're not encouraging it.
My cousin, I have 2 cousins on opposite sides of the family, and I was the best man at their wedding. And so they were not blood related, but they were from both sides of my family. And my cousin, the bride, was like, whatever you do, just don't bring up the cousin thing. I know you think it's funny, but how can you not? How can you not?
Did?
Yes. Over the course of my speech, I was like, and I just want to take a second and really congratulate my cousin Ricky and my cousin Marcy. Wait a second.
Oh my God.
Wow. I love that.
Yeah.
Well, Omar, this has been great. Thanks so much. Getting it together. No.
This has been the Tangled Family Tree.
Could you imagine if we invited you on for 5 minutes to talk about incest and then cut you off?
This is all very light incest. It's all.
Oh, let's not.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
We do. Here we go. Here's Sina. Hello.
Sina!
Yeah.
Hi. How are you?
On my phone.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I was listening to and watching the whole thing, but for some reason on my iPad it wasn't working. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I thought you were going to say I was watching the end of Raised by Wolves, and I just had to finish it. And now I'm back here to do your podcast. I'm spot on.
It's a wild ending, so I understand that. Sina, Omar, now that you're both here, very excited to have you on. Without getting into spoilers, I really enjoyed the book that comes out tomorrow. I mean, not only is the art great, the writing great, but it feels like I guess this is spoiling like one of the variant covers or maybe the cover for issue 2. But there's a shot of the main characters all set up like friends with the umbrellas and everything. And that to me almost felt like it got to the heart of everything where it's friends, but more modern, more inclusive, a little bit sexier. Would you say that's like on the right bent with what you were going for, or is that very far away from it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
we both. Oh, do you want to do it?
No, you got this.
Okay. Omar was the one who came up with the idea of working together, and we just both felt like Friends was cool, but Friends was like a long time ago, and there are just so many more complicated issues to explore nowadays. That also, I think, reflect a wider pool of people. So that's sort of the beginning of where Getting It Together came from, was just sort of wanting to take these hallmarks that we loved and these anchors that we loved and then expand on them in like a very modern lens.
Yeah, I feel like it has it reminded me a little bit of Scott Pilgrim in a good way, where it's like a modern take on like just being in that time in your life where you're like, I fucked up. Now I have to figure out all these relationships.
Well, I think we all go through that. And
Yeah.
I think that's what the book of the books. We want to make sure that people can be fuck ups and be okay with it. Okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things that was interesting, I mean, that I thought was interesting while I was reading the book is because it is all about people in their 20s and bands fucking up, like you're saying, making mistakes in San Francisco. But it's also people outside interacting in a very natural way. And particularly right now, it's something where it feels like, oh, what a throwback to a gentler time.
Yeah.
You know? Is there anything that, I mean, obviously you created this, and like Omar was saying, you've been working on it for 4 years at this point. But do you feel like it's going to hit differently now in the COVID era than it would have potentially a year earlier or 2 years earlier?
I know for me, I was a little like, oh gosh, is this gonna land with people at all? And I think what's been great from what we've seen so far and from what people have said based on advanced PDFs and whatnot, is that it's like it's a reminder of why we are doing what we're doing now. Like it's a reminder. It's kind of a of these things. You know, like it's a literal slice of life, and life is something we don't have right now. So it's kind of the best science fiction anyone could ask for.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Nice.
So true.
Well, I mean, on that same note, though, it's also interesting reading a modern romance book because we don't get a lot of those. You know, there was a certain part of me, even knowing what I knew going in, you read an Image Comics book, and there's a certain sense of like, oh, there's going to be some sort of twist. At some point, the aliens come. At some point, the robots pop in or anything like that. But for anybody who's thinking about picking up this book, who's listening, it's not like that at all. It is very much about the emotions, very much about the characters. Was there at any point in the development process, was there a temptation to image it up, so to speak, and give it more of a high concept versus a romance book?
No, I mean, from the beginning, we knew what this book. We know that it's a slice of life. We know that's a slice of like. I have the crazy echo in my pocket, so I apologize.
That's
but
right.
we knew it was a slice of life book. We knew exactly what it was from its inception, and we just kind of expanded on that. Sina and I both had a really clear vision of what it was, and we executed it. And I'm really proud of how the book turned out.
I gotta say, it's great to kind of have this nice kind of like warm relationship story with everything that's going on. You know, it's like when I go get my stack, you know, it's zombies, it's murder, it's a lot of fun stuff. But this was a nice, like, little treat, just a nice kind of like, I don't have to be scared. I don't have to be too worried for the characters. You know, I can just kind of enjoy just taking it in and kind of getting sucked into these lives.
Yeah, it's like there are emotional Infinity Gauntlets. Emotional adamantium claws.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sina, could you talk a little bit about the inspiration behind the book? I mean, this is something you talk about in the back matter a little bit, so anybody who picks it up will get more of a sense. But you touch on the real life inspiration, the real life moments that both of you, I think, were bringing to this book.
Yeah, well, to get into some spoilers, there is a love interest who talks about going on a date and like waking up next to a guy sounding himself, which is a very adult act that people can look up later.
It's explained though, which is great.
We know.
I never woke up to someone doing that. I don't shame that, but that path of finding out that someone isn't who they seem, like who they are, that came from that experience was real, down to then like even the sort of twist on a twist ending when Jack talks to that from the city writers room. Like Omar and I like to talk about real life things, and then if it can fit in the arc for these characters, then we try to put these very real moments in our lives in the book.
Yeah.
Omar, what about you?
I mean, not to give too much away, but some of the stuff directly in the book is literally conversations Sina and I have had and been like, well, this is just going in the book. And it's just super fun stuff, super silly stuff. We take a lot of stuff that comes from our own life, and I've definitely felt the emotions a lot of the characters have felt. Like, and we try to channel that and put that into the story. And I think the book is about friendship, and I think it comes across that way. It's not about, like in your typical sitcom, that it's always the will they, won't they between the two main love interests.
Yeah.
And for this book, to me, it's always felt about friendship and will they, won't they have a friendship that works. And to me, that's the crown jewel of the whole experience.
I think one of the hardest things to do in comics is be genuinely funny, have like a good jokes that don't feel like Spider-Man quips. And I feel like when you talk about how you guys sort of had these conversations and they wound up in the book, it feels that way. All the comedy feels super earned and whatnot. So I just want to give that compliment because it's hard to do.
Thank you. That really means a lot. We tried to be funny, but at the same time, be human.
Yeah. Sina, I was just out in LA hanging out with John Gabris, and you want to say what up to you now that you're on the show.
Oh, I love my gay Bruce.
Yeah.
Justin, I love how you're just doing shout outs to all of our guests now.
Exactly.
just
Showing the
shout
connections
outs.
and everything.
Flexing.
Very LA Justin.
Yeah.
Very LA Justin. Being like, oh yeah, I know everybody. I know everybody.
That's
You
what
want to make
it's
a
all
deal?
about.
You want to get some lunch? What are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all
Cobbs?
getting coffee later.
Cobbs?
Cobbs. Okay, Alex, you get it. Cobb salad.
I've been to LA a couple of times. I know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what salads people get.
Would you guys do the karaoke online? I'm in. Just let me know.
Oh,
Absolutely.
You and Jim go. Let's go.
After party.
You're all welcome. To talk a little bit about the arc of the book, I know this is a ridiculous thing to talk about with the first issue hasn't even come out until tomorrow, but is this something that you see as the limited series? Is it more of an ongoing? Is it something that potentially could go forever, like Friends? What's in your mind at this point?
I was gonna let Cena jump on that, but I'll tell my version. I think we have stories that go on forever. We have a second arc in our mind and where it's going and what the plan is with it. We're really passionate about the characters in the book, so we've definitely talked about what the second, third, and fourth volume would look like and what to expect there. But the question lies in is like, I think we told a complete story in the first 4 issues, and I think I'm really proud of the direction it's gone. So we'll see if we expand on that after or not. So right now we're still talking about if we're going to do the second arc, or if we're going to do something new altogether.
All right. Well, I just wanted to kind of put this out there. Having one of the characters get a pet monkey, great idea. Just kind of roll with that. If it comes up organically, don't shy away.
You
from
have
it.
a monkey?
Great question. Great question.
I mean, I have a
Named
monkey on my
Garcelle?
back, if that's what you're wondering. But no, I don't have. I don't have a real monkey.
Well, we've lost Tina again. I gotta ask, what's up with the board behind you?
So that's a
What's
bunch of
going on?
stuff we're working on. I'm switching to animation a lot. So I'm doing a lot of animation projects. I'm really passionate about animation, and it's always been a passion of mine. I've written for various animated shows like Ben 10. So my future hopefully will be comic books and animation. I'm a huge fan of both, and I just love doing it, and that's what we're doing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, so it's super challenging, but it's
Awesome.
super fun.
Cool.
So first of all, I'm going to apologize about all the tech problems with you and Sina. You guys are champs and awesome. And also congratulations on the book. It's like I said, really fun, really sweet. Like Pete mentioned, just a very different thing that I think a lot of people are reading right now, and a must pick up for tomorrow. We'll be talking more about it in our Stack podcast. We're not here when we'll be reviewing it whole hog. We'll give it a good review.
Whoa,
don't worry.
Alex, don't
But
tip our
anything else you
hand.
want to?
Yeah, no doubt.
You're compromising
sorry.
our journalistic integrity.
I could be lying.
I love it.
Don't lie to
doesn't
our
know.
guest.
Get it together. and
But
fix up
anything
getting
else
it
you want to
together.
plug, Omar, before we
Absolutely.
let you go?
I appreciate Jenny Define has absolutely done amazing on art. I'm
Yeah.
gonna just show off Son of
The art is great.
her. She's absolutely nailed it. I found her on Instagram a really long time ago. Mixed
Oh, wow.
Strudel on Colors has been incredible, and Image has just been the best publisher you could ever hope to have as a publisher. I cannot say enough amazing things about them. There's a reason they're the #1 independent publisher, is because they are beyond amazing to be there, and I'm just super grateful and super honored to just be having a book come out through there. It's always been a dream of mine, and super happy to have it done.
Congrats.
Awesome.
That's
Omar, congrats to Sina as well. So, thanks for everything. And have a great night.
Thanks, guys. See you
Omar,
later.
great talking to you.
Bye. All right. There we go. Once again, it's called Getting It Together from Image Comics. It's coming out tomorrow. Who knows what we're going to say in our stack review of it. No mystery to me, I got to be honest.
Spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, no spoilers.
We haven't
and
said
that
it yet.
is it. We're going to move on to our next section, which is my favorite section because you all make it up. It is your audience question.
Yeah!
I have the first question here.
Wait.
Somebody writing in asking Justin if he got that shirt to piss Pete off or if he got that shirt, because he actually likes it.
No, I don't do things just to make Pete angry. I say things.
Why would you get a shirt just to make Pete angry? Like, who would do something like that?
Wow, well done.
Who would do that?
Done.
I wish we had set that up, but that occurred absolutely naturally. Hilarious.
Awful shirt. That is an awful shirt.
I love this, the original Weapon X story arc from back in Marvel Comics Presents. The Barry Windsor Smith art is unbelievable, and I just saw it and went for it.
Good for you.
There we go. For audience questions, I see a bunch of you already done it here on Crowdcast. Drop a question and ask a question over on the tube. Just drop it in the comment section there. And I got a little distracted because somebody did drop a question. I don't know if this is specifically for us so much as the comments, but Puncher Joe 1 says, am I the only person who didn't like Friends?
Wow.
Or actually,
no.
I'm sorry, he said, am I the only person who didn't like Friends?
Wow.
Hey!
Killer Chandler.
Thanks.
I would hold up this first season of Friends as very funny, and then after that, it's really backslides a bit.
Ooh, hot
Yeah,
take.
I definitely watched a couple of seasons. I don't know that I watched the full thing. At a certain point, I just got kind of bored. But getting it together, I will never get bored of.
Wow. Stop spoiling your review.
Yeah.
My
What are you guys
forever
drinking?
book. What are we drinking? Are we doing that one first?
Yeah.
Sure. Pete, what are you drinking? Liquid fuel, jet fuel or something? And
Yeah.
vodka?
Yeah, I'm unfortunately I gotta work on my mixers game. I just have vodka and Mountain Dew laying around the house, so going with the old staple.
Your mixers game.
Yeah, I gotta get some mixers for my vodka. It's my
You got to get a code red. You got to get whatever the Black Mountain Dew is.
I
You gotta get some mixers.
don't think of buying juice as your mixers game. Think of doing something that's not drinking garbage.
Wait, what are you drinking, Justin?
I've got a 5 Boroughs Pilsner.
Nice.
Very good, light, fresh beer.
I'm drinking a Stone Scorpion Bowl IPA
Wow.
that I picked up today. There's a beer distributor, turns out, just a couple of blocks from my house, so I checked it out.
That's trouble.
Oh, that
That's
was
why
amazing.
you moved there, right?
Not originally, but now I'm feeling pretty good about it. It was pretty wonderful walking in there. Very excited.
Yeah,
I
you
got
live
my-
by a beer distributor, a weird chip store, and a 90s boy band music
at
emporium.
the Backstreet Boys house, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Exactly. All right, this is from Edward Doherty. Can Pete please fantasy cast a comic book movie with his favorite comedy actors? Robin Williams as Wolverine, Bill Murray as the Punisher, Rob Schneider as Galactus? Some suggestions for actors to consider: Eddie Murphy, Gene Wilder, Leslie Nielsen, John Candy. Well, Pete?
Wow.
Wow, really gives you, it's like a multiple choice question.
Yeah,
I
I
love
mean,
this.
he took. I mean, I guess it's alive or dead, which is pretty crazy. But it would be fun to see like a kind of like a real campy take and having like Richard Pryor, play somebody and like.
Oh man, like he could be in a Superman movie or something like
Yeah,
that.
that
and
would be
doing-
crazy.
No,
That would be so much
no,
fun.
No, I was trying to go like campy. It would be fun to see him be the Flash.
Yeah,
and,
like a
complain about it.
campy Superman movie with
Like
like
a-
maybe
like a computer that sucks someone in by accident.
No, not something stupid.
Yeah,
where
it's like fucking
he can
terrifying
throw
for your entire life.
Yeah.
The symbol on his chest, and it just turns into cellophane. Not something stupid. I'm looking for campy. There's a difference. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Bill Murray.
So let me just recap your fantasy casting. You said Richard Pryor would play somebody. So far.
Oh, what a fantasy!
It's amazing. It's quite fantastic.
He would be the Flash.
The Flash.
I don't know if this is a joke comment or not, but Ben the Border Collie says, "I say dead Robin Williams is Uncle Ben." I see what you're saying. Oh,
come on! Why would you read that out loud?
You know what? Because I was thinking he was saying Robin Williams is Uncle Ben, and I was trying to picture Robin Williams as like riffing for 15 minutes before he gets to the great power with great responsibility. But that's not what he meant.
Ooh, what's this guy? This guy's trying to rob me. What's he doing? He's going to get in this way. He's coming this way.
Now he's a bird. He's flying up in the air. Oh, look at that.
Oh, my nephew. Maybe let him go. Maybe let him run right past him because he's a wrestler now. I don't know. Why would he do that?
Oh, man. That guy was great when he was on cocaine. Okay, we got a question here from... What? He was? That's an arguable. I say that as a compliment.
End of sentence.
I mean, that's special from what, 65 or 68?
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Live
That's
at the
amazing.
Met was the greatest.
Great stuff. He was on a lot of cocaine.
Every episode of Mork and Mindy.
You can't just say
there.
cocaine. Like, he did a lot of work, and he didn't just do cocaine, and then all of a sudden the special came out. You can't give all the credit to cocaine, you asshole.
I mean...
Hey, Pete, when are you going to do a quiz where the third answers all point to a movie featuring cocaine? Because that's a fun quiz.
From Nelson Martinez over on the tube, since The Boys is coming to a season finale, which character has grown on you the most since the pilot? Gotta be Mother's Milk for me. Loved him this season.
Yes. So glad to hear that. Mother's Milk, huge.
Who's grown on you the most since the pilot of The Boys?
I just straight up hated Homelander in the beginning. Like, he really... But as the show has gone on and we've seen kind of Homelander struggle and deal with things, it's just crazy. And also, like, the just different journeys that, Maeve also, like, it's just great to kind of see the boys kind of tackle these people in a way that's a little different from the comic book, and kind of explore the media side of it in a way that's kind of really enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, Pete, the villains I think are so well done because they're not just like this person's evil. Like the way they make the Deep just like constantly punishing him and making him so pathetic the entire time while still trying to be hopeful he's going to come out of it. Like, I think it's just so smart. Same with Homelander, the way you get in his head a lot and see the different nuances. Really well done.
I think Maeve is a really good answer just because she has this storyline that kind of popped up in season 1 a little bit that people really hooked into, and they've really blown it out in a very nice way in the second season. But I gotta go with Butcher, who I think we've talked about this a lot on the Boys podcast that we do, but
we do a Boys podcast?
Yeah, it's called Let's Hear It for the Boys. It's available on iTunes, Android, Spotify, Stitcher.
Wait, that's not the one where somebody does like an annoying song at the start of every episode, is it?
I mean, that's every podcast we do.
Oh, okay.
But I think Carl Urban,
this, like, guy who shouldn't have any business singing songs at the beginning. It's just.
I'll tell you what. I don't know. I don't know. There. Oh, should we call him back for? It's the karaoke time now.
I think the karaoke just started, and I gotta say, Alex, that was maybe the best singing I've ever heard you do.
Wow!
Thank you.
Did you warm up before this podcast?
I've been drinking Scorpion Bowl IPA.
Nice.
But yeah, Butcher, I would say, just because he's such a different character than he is in the comic books. In the comic books, they give him dimensions, but like he is very much a one-dimensional grinning badass, the way that they literally draw him. And Carl Urban, by the nature of being Carl Urban and such a good actor, they've given him so much more to do and play with, that particularly this season, he has grown and gained more dimensions, and it's been very nice to see. Let's go to another one here on Crowdcast. This is from John George. Just got my ballot.
John George.
Who should I vote for at legal weed, yay or nay?
Wow. These are
Yay.
good questions.
Come on, John George. Yay on that. Come on. Help
Is
us
that
out,
on-
bro?
Where that's on the ballot in New Jersey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, there's been a long battle for that for the last 2-3 years.
New Jersey's going to beat New York. It sucks.
You're in Philly now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's not going to happen over there in PA. I can't believe they
it's
let
not.
you have alcohol down there.
Oh, it's happening in PA.
Yeah, vote Biden. I think we can say that pretty firmly. I know we try to stay out of politics and stuff, but just, for the future of the world and stuff, please vote
Yes.
for Joe Biden.
And let me just throw some breaking news. Stephen Miller just tested positive for COVID.
That's really bad news.
Literally, my text. I mean, we don't want to get into the cruel side of it, but my texts are on the side of my laptop, and it's just people saying that over and over again. I'm like, yeah, why is everyone texting this?
Oh man, that's crazy. You think COVID would flee immediately from his body?
It's a lot of jokes to be made.
Sure.
He didn't get infected with COVID. COVID got infected with Stephen Miller. Oh,
Yeah, there you go. There you go. They write it themselves. Legal weed, yay. Vote for Joe Biden. There you go. That is our official comic book club endorsement.
we endorse
right
Joe Biden.
Agitato asks, how many bears on average do you wrestle on a daily basis at Screwen Lake?
I wish if Jim's still in the feed, please hit us up and let us know. But I will say where I'm from, way upstate New York, Governor, New York, there are bears. There are bear sightings at the end of the dirt road that I run down. So every day I have to be scared a little bit.
Yeah, when we would go up to the Adirondacks, we would have a lot of fun run-ins with bears. They also, like in Old Forge, they have this spot where they just have dumpsters lined up, and you can park your car and watch the bears come and eat. It's kind of crazy.
Jim says, depends when one wanders into town. So a lot of similar answers from the upstate New York set. And again, getting our quota in of little facts about upstate New York.
First Bandito 740 on YouTube says Biden about to get that CBC bump. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, it takes a little while to play out on the polling numbers, but I think we'll see it in a week or two showing up there. Kevin asks, going off today's as of recording announcement about the Batmobile getting a series, comics have had varied success giving superheroes their own vehicles. CF, the Thanos copter, and any non-Japanese attempt to give Spider-Man a car. What are either your favorite superhero wheels or a superhero vehicle you'd like to see?
Blade's car is glorious in the Blade movies.
I've never actually watched Blade. What is cool about his car?
It's just a Dodge
giant
Charger.
Yeah, it's a giant muscle car that is
okay.
badass.
It doesn't have UV lights in the headlights or anything?
It might.
Regular
We don't
car.
know.
Just a regular car.
Regular car.
Pete's our resident gearhead who just, again, likes regular cars. So there's no real... You want to have Hawkeye drive a Camaro or something?
That'd be sweet.
Just to give, for anybody who's confused about the Batmobile news, just a little rundown about that. There's a new animated preschool series coming to Cartoon Network and HBO Max called, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting what it's actually called, but it's basically it stars the Batmobile, the rest of the Bat family's vehicles. So it's basically Cars meets Paw Patrol is the idea, I guess. Yeah, there you go.
I
so
like
that should be
I like superhero vehicles that have their own vehicles. The haunted tank needs its own Spider-Mobile.
That's a good idea.
The haunted tank.
I will say about the Spider-Mobile hatred in that question, and it was abject hatred, that I don't know, there's been some fun takes on the Spider-Mobile in recent years. I mean, I always call out Spider-Man Human Torch #3, which is a super fun use of it. But there's been a couple of other times where people have brought in the Spider-Mobile, and it's always a good, fun joke that they pay off really nicely. So I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, like I think it was like Old Man Logan or something where he had the spider buggy and they were driving it across the country. That was awesome.
Yeah, good stuff.
Great stuff.
Great stuff. Anthony Latch says, if you guys could get a life-size statue of a character to put in your living room and have everybody in the house cool with it, who would it be?
Wow.
Silver Surfer for me. Anthony, first of all, talk to whoever you're living with. Just explain to them why you need the Silver Surfer statue. That is what I'm getting for your question. And if they love you, they will accept you.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex reading through the lines.
Yeah, don't give up on your dream of having a Silver Surfer statue, in your living room, because if that's what you want, you got to do it, man. It sounds
Eventually, when we're through with COVID, I want Pete and Alex to come over to my place and see the statues I built of them in my living room.
Wow.
Oh, Alicia Masters style, just sort of just building.
Exactly. I do. I put a blindfold over my eyes. I bring in a lot of very wet clay.
I was
and
hoping
just
it
sort
would
of
be.
massage the clay.
I was hoping it would be Groundhog Day, like Bill Murray styles, where you kind of get
Really good at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
An
I'll
ice
tell
sculpture.
you, this is not exactly a statue, but just because I was having this conversation just before we got on the podcast. So my son, who's 6 years old for his 6th birthday, got a 3,000 piece Marvel puzzle from my parents, which is a pretty awesome present because he loves puzzles. Only problem is it is way too difficult for him.
Yeah.
Like insanely difficult. He's super crazy quick at puzzles, but this is too much for anybody. So I've been the main one who's been trying to like chip away at the puzzle to get it to a point where I'm like, hey, you want to do the puzzle now? And he's like, no, it's too difficult. So we have our entire living room floor is now covered with this 3,000 piece puzzle because we don't have a table in the living room yet. And we were just talking about what we're going to do with it. And we might actually make it into a table or maybe make it into like a mat for the floor or something like that. We'll see.
Wow. Ben, the border collie, brings up a good point. Would you just get a giant statue of two owls fucking, or like what would you do, Sal?
Oh, great question. That's actually one of the next questions here on YouTube.
Yeah, what animals do you want fucking in your house?
Hey, Alex, can we get an update on the sexual positions for the owls that live with you? First of all, there are two owls behind me. They're not in sexual positions. They were just next to each other. They're Harry Potter owls. I did change it up this week. I can show you on the camera here. Now, as you can see, that's a horse over there, and that's an owl right below it. That's just for space reasons.
Stepped on the fucking owl and murdered it, man. What the hell?
That horse.
You have children in your house. Why would you?
No. It's just for space reasons. We put the horse there on top of the owl, like right on top of the owl.
Mounting. Finally, the horse is doing the mounting.
Exactly.
Nice. I look forward to the animal that comes out of that copulation. Oh, and I should also say the statues of Pete and Alex in my house are full nudes.
Yeah. Josh asks, "Where's the other owl?" It's you can't see it, but it's behind the horse.
It's
the
jerking
owl,
off in the corner, watching it all go down.
I was gonna make a less explicit version of that joke, Pete, and I'll tell you what. I'm glad you said it.
I truly can't believe. I know, Justin, you missed this when Pete was going off on this the other week.
I feel like I put it together. I don't know.
No, you put it together. I can't believe that Pete's the one that are like, are those owls fucking? Those owls are fucking, right?
Well,
Pete's
just
like,
one of those
Alex.
things where, like, before we started, Zalbin had his camera like tilted up, and I was just like, "Hey, man, like, what's going on? Like,
Pete's
it looks like those owls."
Pete's like, "Hey, Alex, all the books on your bookshelf are fucking behind you. They're all rubbing up against each other."
But to answer the question, I would love to have like a Hulk like breaking through a brick wall or something. That would be amazing.
An actual brick wall of your house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like Kool-Aid Man?
Like Kool-Aid Man.
It'd be cool if he broke through. It'd be broke through and you could sit on his fists as your couch. Or like
that would be fun.
Like it was if his hand was like this.
Fisting joke that you just tried to...
I'm not making a fit. What, Pete? Where are you? Let's see. You're mentally. You're just like, I don't know. Very sexualized.
Here's a more serious question from Joe. Hey y'all, what are your thoughts on the conversation that I've heard about in the MCU making Magneto a black man that is a survivor of the Rwandan genocide? Alex, I'm definitely interested in your perspective, as the comic book movies and TV shows don't seem to have many heroes or villains where they are Jewish, and it's important to the character, i.e. Batwoman, never seem to dwell upon her faith. So I can answer this one first, and then I'm curious to hear from you guys. I mean, it's a complicated thing, and I think each case is individual. Certainly, there are not enough Jewish characters in mainstream comics. There's not. You know,
It is crazy
so-
when the list of like, here are all the characters in comics that are Jewish, and it's like Magneto, Ragman.
yeah,
And it's
Kitty
like,
Pryde,
wait,
the thing,
and
that's
Kitty
pretty
Pryde.
bad. Sabra,
Yeah.
the Israeli hero.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, there's barely any of them. There's not a lot, and it's always very exciting when you see something like Batwoman, where Kate Kane turns out to be Jewish. I think to talk about these two specific cases, and I'll work backwards, to talk about Batwoman, it was frustrating to me that they only tangentially referenced her Judaism, but from having interviewed and asked the showrunner about this a couple of times, I think that was just something she was not interested in. Like, she was very interested in the LGBTQ plus coming out metaphor. That was the thing she wanted to talk about. I think she did a great job personally of really drilling into that in the first season and using superheroics as a metaphor for that process. But it was always like a little bit of a disappointment to me, you know, that they don't need to have a Hanukkah special or anything like that, but it would have been nice. Like, it would have been nice to see it. And there was a cute joke about halfway through the season where they talked about her bat mitzvah, and they had like a little bat symbol for the bat mitzvah. I was like, that's cute.
That's funny.
But that was, it felt like sort of throwing chum. My feeling on it is like, they did enough with the LGBTQ plus representation there on this show that I'm good with them drilling into representation. I'm not going to be pissy about them leaving off the Jewish representation. And it's the same thing with replacing the characters, replacing with a new character. This Ryan Wilder character that's going to be the new character versus Kate Kane. I think that ties into my feelings about the Magneto thing as well. Like, the sliding scale of time in comics and also movies is weird. So if they're going to do a modern take on the MCU, on the X-Men, to have Magneto still be a Holocaust survivor is as weird to me as having the Punisher having fought in the Vietnam War. There's a certain point where it doesn't work anymore. And not that they're one-to-one, but if the thing that works better for Magneto's character is making him a survivor of the Rwanda genocide, I'm okay with that, because I think story, if it's the right story and it's not made for the wrong reasons, is the right way to go. I know that's kind of a circular way of explaining that, but that's generally my feeling on it.
And that makes sense, especially in adapting a comic book story to film or television, where time is more meaningful because of the nature of movies and TV, where it's really there's a sense of time and place. When in comic books, I think that it's much easier to sort of get away with having Magneto still have been in the Holocaust.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I think comic books need to be adapted at least a little bit, no matter how small it is. Like, you have to translate the form over to a different media. I mean, Watchmen, the way that the Watchmen movie was just a direct translation, it was like a dead thing, that it didn't work. And I just think in general, I'm always more of a fan of, like, if we want to introduce a new character that, or introduce a character that has dealt with a similar tragedy, introduce a new character and make it about that, rather than just be like, oh, now Magneto dealt with the Rwandan genocide. It's like, well, that's different. And like, I don't know, is it the same, or are you just swapping out a tragic thing? Because the circumstances of both of those events are wildly different, and it feels very weird to just be like, now it's this bad thing that humanity did to this person.
I mean, I'd imagine, I haven't really read much about this, and just to be clear, I think this is just a wild rumor. There aren't any public plans about what they're going to do with the X-Men in the MCU, but I think the idea is to drill into that oft-repeated thing of Magneto and Professor X being Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. So they could go a route where it's like very explicitly, they're black and this is what this is, and we're going to put like a fine point on it, which I could see. Ultimately, it comes up to the execution of it more than anything, I feel.
I agree. I think that, like, good story is good story, and we should try to stretch comics to fit times and to fit what ideas or stories we have. And if it makes sense, give it a try. You know what I mean? Like, I think we've if you would have said to me like, oh man, some of the best Captain America comics are after he's dead and, you know, Falcon takes over, I've been like, fuck you, it is. But like reading it, I was just blown away by how great it was and how nice and different it felt and that kind of thing. So making these changes with Magneto seems a little like, well, wait, what? But that's not the Magneto I know. You know, if the story is great, you know, it can kind of like, you know, open us up to different stuff. So it's worth trying.
Yeah, and adapting to, like, taking the metaphor and shifting it to a different story, I think totally works as you adapt it to something else.
Yeah, I mean, that all said, it would be nice to have more Jewish representation on screen,
Yes.
particularly when it comes to superheroes. But
representation across the board. I mean,
exactly.
Comic books is one of the slowest moving forms of media in embracing diversity, and it has to move faster.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed. Good question. Thank you. Moving on to Nick Kelly. I've been missing live theater a lot. What are some moments that happened during the live show over the years that stuck with you? LinkedIn Gate, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely that one. What else? Other live moments that you guys can think of?
I
stuck
mean,
with you?
the LinkedIn Gate was very funny. A quick explainer, if you weren't there, someone came to the show and during audience questions was like, I'm here because Alex Zalbin didn't respond to my LinkedIn request or something. And Alex was wildly put on the spot. One of the things that made me laugh the hardest maybe in my life is at our end of year anniversary special for like our 12th year anniversary when Pete was like, I've been running a secret quiz for 5 years. And I just could not believe that was true.
Yeah, you lost it. It was great.
That was just that level of commitment. And Pete's the hardest working, most loyal man in the game. And the fact that he was that loyal to a quiz that only existed in his brain. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of like fun live moments, like the ice bucket challenge that Dan Slott challenged us to with Nat Townsend. Like that was really amazing. We like ran inside, chugged a beer, did a shot or something, and that was just like a lot of fun.
Yeah, can you imagine ever doing anything mean to Nat Townsend?
Oh gosh!
Don't bring that up.
You brought him up.
I'm gonna punch that guy in his face as soon as I see him. I just think you know, we've had
I can't believe COVID is over. Punch.
Jail. Punch. Jail. Instantly.
Oh, who's gonna rat me out? Yeah, I just think that like there's been a lot of like really cool kind of like little moments, like, you know, that one little girl who brought her family over and made her whole family sit through our show while she was like clearly having so much fun and everybody else was like so pissed about it, like just so overly exhausted. I mean, stuff like that was unbelievable. Like meeting people who've listened to us over the years in person.
And some of the
been unbelievable.
Some of the ones further back, way back in I think it was our first or second year, we had Bill Hader, Seth Meyers, and who are the comic book people?
Matt Fraction, Brian Michael Bendis, Jeff Lowe,
and Jeff
Joe
Lowe.
Quesada showed up.
Yeah, and we were like, this is so great. And then after the show, they all wanted to talk to each other so they could work on stuff together. We were like, we're part of this. The first time we did San Diego Comic-Con, and we opened up the doors early for the Buffy panel that was after us. So we got to do a show with Chris Hardwick and his band Hard and Firm played on the show, and we did a show for like thousands of people, which was wild. They had no idea what we were doing, but they all like got into it. Super fun.
Yeah. Good times. Hopefully someday again, we will see what happens. Jumping. This is from I Wonder Woman. I wonder if any of your listeners vote for Trump, should they stop listening to you? You know what I will say about that is this goes contrary to everything that I probably tweet and say otherwise. I would say no. I mean, hopefully, keep listening. This is also mostly a place that we talk about comic books and we talk about entertainment. Certainly, I hope that you're not, supporting people that hurt people. That's something that I don't like. And most of the time, if I knew somebody in my life who was supporting Trump, I would shut them out. But we're not going to, we're not going to stop people from listening here, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, I have relatives that we don't talk about politics, and I suspect they vote for Trump. But you can still enjoy aspects of people's life without having to get into the darker parts.
Yeah,
I am a very political person, and I agree to Hollywood Homer. People's rights are being taken away. I'm a very vocal supporter of Biden, or just anti-Trump, I guess you could say. But I also think making everything in your life political makes you part of the same problem that got us to having Trump in our lives every fucking minute. So I do think we have to be able to take a look at the world through other lenses.
Yeah, I think it's like one of those things where I have people in my life who I don't agree with politically with some things, and we find other things to talk about. And when it's time to kind of talk about those things, we do, as awkward as it can be or as weird as it can be. But Bill Burr, for me, is a perfect example. I love listening to his podcast, but when he starts going off about the fucking Red Sox, I turn it off or fast forward it because it drives me up the fucking wall. But, we're complex people, you know what I mean? There's more to us than just one thing. So, if you enjoy something, hopefully an opinion about one thing doesn't hurt you. And I'm sure there are things that I say that drive people nuts. I know there's things that these two a-holes say that drive me insane.
No, come on, Pete.
Number one Wolverine fan right here.
Oh, man. We still
the other thing that I'll mention about the other thing I'll mention this is specifically talking about the way this is worded, but should they stop listening to you? No, and I don't think they should stop listening to us. And the reason I say that specifically versus stop talking to me or anything like that, which I think is maybe even a different question, is I'm not going to say across the board anybody who supports the more negative aspects of politics, Trump, etc., are the same exact people. But there's certainly a lot of people who follow comic books, read comic books, watch comic book movies, who completely miss the point of what the heroes are doing. They miss the point of what Captain America is standing for. They miss the point of fucking Star Wars, which is like the bluntest, literally black and white thing that you could possibly understand. And my hope would be that you would listen to our podcast, hear us talk about superheroes, hear us talk about geek and nerd media and whatever you want to call it. And hopefully, even in a small iota, tiny little bit away, take the positive, the correct lesson way. Because I think we talk about it, and I think we think about it in the right way. Our opinions aren't always right, but certainly we take the right lessons from superheroes and from the comic books. And hopefully if you can listen to us and start to let some of those lessons soak into your brain, perhaps the kindness that superheroes show to others, you can understand you need to start showing to other people if you are not currently doing that. That empathy that is inherent in superheroes needs to be impressed on people and needs to be drilled into people, and they need to understand it, particularly people who are beyond all reason currently supporting Trump. So if our podcast can give that a little bit of that patented comic book club bump, but with your empathy, I am 100% all for that. And please keep listening to our podcast.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jane, Trump is dumb Lex Luthor, so there's a comic book reference for you.
I wouldn't even give him that much. That's even a little bit more than I'm comfortable with saying.
Yeah. Yes, the end result, Edward Doherty, is
good
keep
people
listening.
On both
Please
sides
keep listening to our podcast.
Shit.
Subscribe, tell your friends, and leave comments on iTunes. That was what I was getting at.
Oh, that's good stuff right there.
I think this is our last question from Hollywood Homer. Wanted to ask this with Justin. With Comixology Unlimited, DC Universe Infinite, and Marvel Unlimited being so cheap a month, is the future of paper comics for them to go back to newspaper, print paper, less ink, white borders, less pages, single issue storylines to decrease the price of print comics, like the Action Comic #1 type of comics again, but also just sell them at comic book stores instead of all bookshops, newsstands, and grocery stores like magazines. Justin, specifically?
Yeah. I'm the sort of paper guy on the podcast, I think. I'm down for that. I mean, I don't know, like what do people even want in? I feel like there's such a premium on like the glossy pages, double gatefold covers, all that stuff more in the 90s, and that's such a less of a thing now. Like the reason I like print comics is because I like to hold them. I'm not trying to take a poster out. I like to hold them. I like to snuggle with them, cradle them, kiss them a little bit, and then put them down to bed like little babies. It was like how I learned to become a father is by taking care of thousands and thousands of comic books. That's why I bag and board my children every night before I put them to bed.
It's smart. It's smart. You're gonna keep them fresh, dude.
My kids are in mint condition.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is I don't mind newsprint. I think we could go back to that. If it gets more readers to be able to look at it, to have it be a cheaper object, then I'm all for it.
DC tried that a couple of years ago. I don't know if folks remember this, but with Wednesday Comics, they released a bunch of newsprint style.
See, that felt like an artistic.
What the fuck is that?
Sorry, I'm holding a stick. I'm so sorry.
Okay, Jesus Christ, man! I was like, is that a huge piece of beef jerky? Like,
yeah.
You got a jib? What is that?
I
feel like your
like
children, and then you got a giant stick in your hand, and I don't know what's going on.
I feel like this is a part of the chair I'm sitting in that broke. A chair I repaired.
Didn't do a good job.
Literally, everyone. This is my murder basement, but this is also my workshop where I fix things around the house.
Oh, nice.
What was I saying? Wednesday Comics was more of an artistic choice, I feel like. I don't think they were trying to be like, this is the future of comics.
Well, they tried, and they were like, if this goes well, it might be. But it was really fun and different to kind of see those in the comic book shops and to kind of have that old-timey kind of newspaper feel again. I mean, it's a cool kind of thing. Holding a comic, even like a newspaper comic, is just different, and it's kind of cool to do. Hard to store, hard to keep care of, but still a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree with Justin. I mean, first of all, Wednesday Comics is great. If you've never checked it out, they collected it, and it's just superstar artists, superstar writers working together to create that old newspaper feel, and it's really fun. But I don't think there's any backwards at this point. I think there's really only forwards. I know I've been talking about the same thing the entire time we've been doing the show, but digital is where it's at, man. And particularly right now, when everybody's trapped at home and nobody's going to stores, it's all the more important that they figure out how to make that work. And they've been resisting it in such big ways for so long. Just keep going with it. Like, I love print comics, and I do want to hold print comics. Frankly, like, particularly right now, the library, a half an hour walk for me, has opened up again. So I've been taking out books from the library, because just like the mere idea of holding physical books is so much more pleasant. But they haven't moved. Comics has not moved forward. Comics is still, like, it's not accessible. It's become less accessible. It's become more expensive. It's harder to get. The ones that have gone online, the ones that go on, Tumblr or whatever, those are the ones that are getting a lot more notice and a lot more readers. So I don't know. I don't know what they need to do, but they certainly need to do something.
You can move forward on both fronts. But I mean, just imagine a library, all those books fucking each other on the shelves. Right, Pete?
What?
It's the ultimate book orgy.
Oh man, that's fucked up. Just before we end up here, I do want to mention a nice comment from over on YouTube. Michael Vinoy says, just got here, but wanted to say I recently found your podcast and listen every Wednesday morning on the way to the comic shop. Love it, guys. Michael, thank you so much.
Drive safe, buddy. Get there safe, man.
Drive safe, read hard. Thank you for
Drive safe, read hard.
Drive hard, read safe.
And that's it for the audience questions. We're going to move on to our next section, which is trivia. And for that, we're going to turn it over to Peter LePage.
Pete,
do you want to take it from Crowdcast or you want to take it from the Tube today?
Let's go with the Tube this time.
The Tube? All right. So over on the Tube, all you need to do is hand up or I want to play or gimme, or whatever you want to say.
Oh.
First person to do it is going to get to play a little trivia with Pete LePage.
Play it. Wow. To do a scene with the star of trivia.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
What a treat.
Just absolutely anybody. We didn't mention this, but you're going to get a $25 gift card to Midtown Comics that you could use online. Absolutely free. Ooh, we got Agitato, hand up. Actually, HUD up. So
Close enough.
Ooh, we already got Michael Vinoy, hand up. Came almost simultaneously. What do you think, Pete? Do you want to give it to Michael Vinoy because he's the new guy today?
Sure. I mean, it's your call, man. I can't.
All right, let's do it. Let's do Michael Vinoy. Michael Vinoy over in the YouTube comments. Pete's going to ask you a series of questions. All you got to do is leave the answer there. We're going to kill time a little bit because there's a delay, but from here...
And let's remember that the third answer all amounts to one different flavor of cocaine, I believe. And if you can guess the flavor of cocaine...
Pineapple.
Pete will send you a small bag of it.
I will not.
Yeah, $25 and a bag of cocaine, courtesy Pete LePage, is up for grabs. Here we go with trivia.
All right, today's trivia is on topical comic news.
There it is. I've missed it. This is where I get my news.
This is bad. Question number 1. For the upcoming Batman Catwoman #1, there will be some variant covers by Jen Bartel, Gabriel Del Otto, and is it A, Bruce Timm, B, Michelle Buteau, or is it C, Brad Pitt? So it's either A, if you would like $25, or you could pick B, which is an amazing Netflix special by Michelle Buteau, or C, which is not the correct answer as well.
Oh, okay. So, Michael, leave your answer in the comment section. Whatever you're thinking.
Eventually, the trivia will overtake all other portions of the show, and it'll just be Pete sliding his opinions into different answers about stuff.
Dude, she's fantastic.
Or is the answer B, Justin is talking too much and needs to shut the hell up?
Michael says A. Is it A?
A is correct.
All right.
Nice.
Okay, here we go. Question number 2. Still on the Batman Catwoman. Who is the artist that is back with Tom King to continue their story? Is it A, Clay Mann, B, Clay Matthews, or is it C, Pink? So it's either A or you're completely wrong.
Interesting. I would personally go for A, but I guess we'll see what Michael does.
That's a great call, Alex. I like that you're sort of tipping it a little bit. Alex Trebek does that as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
he's always just throwing out the actual answers of the things.
Yeah,
sure is. Yeah.
I mean, I would say what is? Oh, he says A. Michael says A.
Nice.
All right, here we go. Last one, and Hollywood Homer is correct. Marvel has announced 8 names of new artists at Marvel, and they call them blank. Is it A, Stormbreakers, B, Young Guns, or is it C, Hugo Weaving? So it's either A, and you will win $25 in the form of a gift card to Midtown Comics, or you could pick B or C.
Pete, quick question while we're waiting. Do you mean Hugo, Weaving, or do you mean the actor Hugo Weaving?
I mean the actor Hugo Weaving.
I got you. Okay, just a little point of clarification. Always trying to just get the most topical comic news out there.
I appreciate
Great
it.
question.
I appreciate it.
Pablo, by the way, says, happy birthday to both Justin and Alex. Thank you. It's not my birthday, but...
It's coming up.
Yeah, it's soon. Michael says, fuck, I'm torn. A?
Nice job, Michael. Nice
He did
job.
it!
Used to be called Young Guns, but now they changed it to Stormbreakers.
Oh, boy.
That's great.
Nice. That's great. Thanks for taking out the guns. Defund the Marvel artists, I always say.
And again, it is the third answer equals Happy Feet 2.
Nice.
Excellent. Michael, congratulations. You've gotten a $25 gift card to Midtown Comics. Shoot us an email at comicbookclublive@gmail.com, and we will get that right off to you. Now, before we start to wrap up here...
Wait, there's one little note I want to say. Edward Doherty says, can you make Pete do trivia without access to IMDb next week?
Oh. Then I would have to repeat the Robin Williams movies. So, I'm trying to not repeat and get them all done. But maybe after I can go back and do that.
That was his catchphrase, though. You almost said his catchphrase where he was always like, get her done.
That's right. He
Robin
was.
Williams.
You're
Get her done.
Larry the Cable Guy. You're not thinking of.
I'm pretty sure that's Robin Williams.
No.
Nope.
The Cable Guy was Jim Carrey. You're thinking Jim Carrey.
Yes.
No.
Get her done.
Larry the Cable Guy.
No, he was Robin Williams is like, Euphranijaya Doubtfire, get her done. I believe is what he said.
Jumanji, get her done.
Now, Pete, when you're scrolling down the very rock bottom of Robin Williams' IMDb, do you ever get a message from IMDb that are like, are you all right, sir?
No.
Sir, can we help you?
No, it's usually, hey, welcome back, man. Thanks for going to the same page every single week. We don't think you're weird.
I'm Mr. IMDb, the creator of IMDb, and thank you for supporting our website. As we all know, tomorrow is New Comic Book Day. Wherever you go, make it a safe place. But what are you looking forward to, Pete? What are you looking forward to? Check it out.
A lot of great stuff. I'm going to have to go with Far Sector number 8. And I'm very excited that the Marvel books are doing the Gathering of the Swords is enjoyable.
Oh, man.
Oh, what? You like it?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be an exciting stack. We're actually talking about all 3 Ten of Swords books that are coming out tomorrow. So I'm suddenly feeling much peppier about taping this one. Justin, what about you?
I am looking forward to let's
stretch it out a little bit more, buddy. Why don't you just take a little bit more time, see if you can come up with something.
I'm just torn between a couple different things because I liked a lot of issues. I really liked I really am looking forward to, that is, the new issue of Black Widow that comes out tomorrow. But I also like the Adventure Man comic over from Image Comics by Matt Fraction and the Dodsons, which is really it's taking its time to really get into the story, something that I thought was going to be super premise forward, and they're actually really doing a good job of fleshing out the world in a way that a lot of comics don't have the time to do these days.
Both of you have changed, and I'm disappointed in you. I'm going to call out Lock and Key in Pale Battalions Go. Number 2 is coming out from IDW tomorrow. Can't wait. Very excited to chat about that one and all of these other books on the stack. That, of course, comes in the Comic Book Club feed as well as its own stack feed. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m., we're going to have a slew of reviews for you coming up this next week. And, folks, that's it for our show. Before we go, we want to thank all of our guests for coming on. We want to thank Ali Keller and Jim Fagan for talking about Zero Issue. We want to thank Omar Spahi and Sina Grace for talking about Getting It Together, which is out from Image Comics tomorrow. Next week on the show, we got another packed show. We're going to be talking to Adam Lawson from the Kill Journal, Garrett Gunn from Warcorns, Combat Unicorns for Hire, and Fabian DeSueza is going to be here to talk about Juggernaut as well as the upcoming book Outrage, and I'm sure many more things, and razz us about Deadpool stuff and other things like that. So there you go. A couple of other things to plug. Let's hear it for the boys. As mentioned earlier, the podcast, our boys podcast, is wrapping it up for season 2. That's coming up this week, so that's pretty exciting. Umbrella Podcademy, our Umbrella Academy podcast, is wrapping up season 1. Finally, we'll have that episode out this week. About time, you jerks. I include myself in that, you jerks. Patreon.com/Comic Book Club to support this show and all the other shows we do. iTunes, Android, Spotify, Stitcher, or the app of your choice to subscribe and listen. ComicBookClubLive.com for this podcast. More at Comic Book Live on Twitter. And also, thank you to Kimmy Gatewood who recorded our song.
Yeah.
And shout out to Glow, which was unfairly
Heartbreak.
fucking canceled by
bullshit.
Netflix this week. Fuck you, Netflix. Uncancel Glow. Bring it back. We want
bring
season
back
4.
Glow. Hashtag save Glow.
Save Glow.
Peace out, Benny.